सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शांति मंत्र। ओम आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक् प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यात् मामा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु। तदात्मनि निरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So continuing the story from the morning, the Kshatta, the charioteer, went to Raikwa and recognized this must be that saint who was living under the cart. Asked him, "Sir, are you the Raikwa?" "Yeah, I am the Raikwa." So from that, the servant realized that there was some expectation that are not fulfilled. That we should not go empty-handed. Not only that, but that apparently this sage has a need for money. He needs wealth. And why would he need wealth? No, the way he is, so he would need wealth only when he wants to enter the grihastha. So those days the rishis also were mostly grihasthas. So that seems to be the need. So that is why he came back, reported to the king that yes, I have located Raikwa, and this is, he looks like he is in need of wealth, etc. Then the story continues. Sahajjana Shrutihi Vaut Shatshatani Gavam Nishkam Ashvatari Ratham. Then this king Janashruti went to Raikwa with lots of gifts. Shatshatani Gavam. he took with him 600 cows. Nishkam, also a beautiful necklace. Ashvatari Ratham, also a chariot pulled by two female mules, whatever that is, Ashvatari Ratham. So Ashvatara, mule Ashvatari Ratham. So there must be something special about that. So also a chariot which is pulled by two female mules. Tat Adaya Pradichakrame. Carrying all of this, he went to Reikva. Abhyavada, having approached Reikva, then he said to Reikva, Reikva, Imani Shashadani Gavam. O river sage, here the 600 cows. Nishkam, this garland. Ashvatari Ratham, and this also chariot pulled by this female mules. Athonuya etam bhagavo devatam shadhi yam devatam upasyedi. So this I am offering at your feet. In his own mind, his estimate was that this is what should satisfy the sage, and so he made an offer to the sage, thinking his own estimate of what would satisfy. Here it is, and therefore, please shadhimam, please teach me, give me the upadesha of whom yam devatam upasyeti. Please give me the instruction or upadesha about the devata whom you are meditating. There is something that you know which I do not know, because of which it seems that all the virtues done by all the people, they all automatically come to you based on what you know. And here knowing is realizing, becoming, understand. What is meant by knowing a devata is realizing devata. That's called sakshatkara. I mean, in all the bhakti shastra, the devotees, that they have the darshana, of a devata. That's what is meant here. That the devata that you know, the deity that you know, that you realize as a result of this upasana, meditation, your worship, as a result of your mental worship, the deity that you realize, on account of which you have gained these powers that all the punya, the virtue come to you. Please teach me also about the same devata. Then an interesting thing happened. Tamuha para pratyuvacha. The king who has thus brought all these gifts to him, that sage Reikva said, Haretva Shudra. Hey Shudra. This king is addressed as Shudra. Haretva Tavaivasaha Gobi Astu iti. Hey Shudra, all your this chariot and the garland and all the cows, let them be yours. I don't want them. Meaning that what you brought is not enough. But the interesting thing here is that the king is addressed as Shudra. So that raises a lot of debate. Some people say, look, Upanishad itself says that the person who went to Reikva. Now, Upanishad is not told who Jnana Shruti is. It is our estimate that he may be a king. Because here all those minstrels were praising him, and he had a chariot here and all these cows. I mean, only king can have all of these things. So, this Jnana Shruti should have been a Kshatriya king. King means Kshatriya. And Reikva addressed him as Shudra. And then subsequently Reikwa also imparted knowledge to him. The conclusion of some people is that this is an evidence that Shudra also is qualified for knowledge. So this is serious enough to become a subject matter of Brahma Sutra. Whether does this Upanishad say that Shudra is qualified for knowledge? Understand, this is all the Vedic times. Don't ask me question about the Shudra here. This is because right now the Varnashrama Vyavastha, meaning the system of Varna, meaning the caste and the stages of life, as it doesn't, exist the way it did. Therefore, we can't apply the rules today that were applicable then. But this is based on the order that existed at that time, where this dharma or this code of conduct and the code of life, this is based on Varna and Ashrama, based on the caste, which was determined by birth, by the way. That's when. So someday we can talk about it. And then the stage of life, and that it was based on the disposition of mind. Guna karma vibhagashaha. The duties were all assigned according to the disposition of mind, meaning according to their aptitude and their capacities and their abilities and their aptitudes. So when this system existed properly and successfully, so this is a discussion of that time. Today you can't determine which Brahmana. By birth we can't determine because that has not remained anymore. So we have to look at the person's mind, and then disposition and determine whether he is Brahmana, Kshatriya, etc. But those days when the system was functioning reasonably well, you could determine the disposition of mind of the person also from the birth. So when this person is addressed as Shudra, what does it mean? And so Bhashyakara says, so question is that this person, this Jnana Shruti must be a Raja, must be a king. Because his minstrels who extol him, praise him, he has a charioteer and he has brought these gifts, and so he must be a king. Then how come the sage addressed him as a Shudra? Tatrahu acharyaha. To this the Sutrakara, Badarayana, Acharya says. So there is a Sugasyatat, Anadar, Shravanadar, etc. There is a sutra there, where the Sutrakara explains the word Shudra. Now a word, the first meaning is the proper or the commonly known meaning. So immediate or Vachyartha of the word Shudra means the one born in that caste. But where Vachyartha, the direct meaning is not applicable, then we have to go for another meaning. The meaning is derivative meaning. So then Sutrakara gives derivation of the word Shudra. Shucha adravati iti Shudraha. There is the root Dhru, Gatau. Dravati means runs, rushes. Shug means Shoka, means grief. So Shucha adravati iti Shudraha. The Jnana Shruti in fact rushed to Raikwa. Shucha, because of grief. So Shucha is the third case. Third case can mean Shucha Hetu, because of grief, or Sahacharya, with grief he went, or because of grief he went to Raikwa. Therefore, he is called Shudra. Not that he is Shudra by birth, but he is Shudra in as much as of the disposition of mind, that right now he possesses a mind which is tamasic, because he is full of grief, just like Arjuna was. Arjuna also was Kshatriya, But then tam tatha krupaya vishtam, he was entered upon by grief. And so also this king also is pervaded with grief. Grief has entered and taken over him. And he goes to Raikva with grief. So Shudra means the one who approaches or rushes to this Raikva with grief. Shucha adravati iti Shudra. In fact, that describes the condition of the mind of the king, that he is grieving. He has come here with grief. Why should there be grief? Because the king listened to those swans and they praised Raikva, and then that fellow denounced him. So king realized that I am nothing. He thought it was something. He was so virtuous, and that the luster, of his virtue was spreading everywhere. And he was praised by one of the swans that, look, that luster is so powerful that, hey swan, make sure that you don't touch it. So king felt very good. And the other swan said, what do you mean? He is nothing. His luster is nothing compared to that of Raikva. That this king possesses some virtues, no doubt about that. But who is Raikva? Raikva possesses the virtues which is the sum total of all the virtues of all the beings. Meaning in the limitless or infinity, all numbers are included. So when Janashruti realized that there is someone like that before whom I am nothing, he felt very sad. And therefore he rushed because he wanted to be like that. So therefore the sage addressed him as Shudra. But while addressing, the sage also revealed that I know what's going on in your mind. Shudra means the one who is approached Raikva with grief. This king is aggrieved. Then Raikva says, meaning that I know what has happened to you. So that way, this sage revealed the fact that I am capable of knowing things that I have not seen. I know what has happened to you. I know the conversation that took place between the swans, and I know what they talked, and I know how you felt, and I know what has brought you here. So, addressing this king as Shudra reveals also, number one, that the king is aggrieved, and number two, that sage knows, revealing thereby that look, it is by my tapascharya, that I know tapobalena jnatva. Even vrittantam parokshamapi, even though what happened to Janashruti in terms of listening to the conversation between the swan is not known. He was not present, Raikva was not present, and still I know it. So he shows this is the tapobalam. That's the power I have because of my penance that I know these things. So that also he revealed. Thereby revealed his greatness, and the king knows that he is in front of someone who is really powerful, who knows what he is doing, who knows what he is doing and who knows why he is saying what he does. He doesn't say things just because out of anger or something like that. So Shudra means, in a way, the king is dismissed. Take back all your gift. Why? Namama aparyaptena karmarthamanena prayojanamite abhipraya. What you brought is not enough for me. Don't you realize what I want? Meaning that you are not really recognize what I want. What you brought is insufficient. So then, Taduva punareva Janashruti pautrayana. Janashruti, without any resistance, without any sense of insult, without feeling insulted, without feeling bad, he accepted that yes, sage means what he says, and therefore he understood the intention of the sage. That by saying that, the sage is expressing some intention. That look, what you brought In return for the vidya that you are seeking, what you brought is not enough. The vidya that you are seeking, in fact, deserves more than this. What is that more? Which is what I need. That I want to enter Grihastha, and for that, money alone is not enough. What else is required? A bride is required, isn't it? So, Jnana Shruti recognized this. And therefore, Punareva Jnana Pautra Sahasram Gavam Nishkam Ashvatari Ratham Duhitaram Da. Now he brought 1,000 cows and that necklace and that of course the same chariot plus his daughter as an offering to the sage because he had to enter the Grihastha. And he must have an appropriate bride, of course. And what to talk of the king's daughter. So the appropriate bride he made an offer. Then it says, He Raikva, Idam Sahasram Gavam. O sage, here is our 1,000 cows, and this necklace, and this chariot, and this my daughter. Not only that, I am Gramaha Yasmin Ase. I'm also offering to you this Grama, the very village on which you are here right now, that also is given to you. Because when Raikva gets married, he can't live under this, what do you call it, the cart. He needs a place, isn't it? That also the father-in-law is to make, provide along with the daughter. Meaning that when you offer your daughter, who is going to go to that family, you should provide to that family for, what is required for support and maintenance of this girl. So apparently father-in-law took the responsibility to make sure that my daughter is not a burden to the family that she goes to. And therefore provides. So this is where I guess all this, the rule or the custom, I shouldn't say rule. Or what do you call it? The dowry. Don't use the word dowry in India today. When you use that word, they'll arrest you, dowry. I'm not proposing any dowry, I'm just saying this is dowry. The idea is that if you give this princess to this, what can he do with it? He can't sustain her. So he needs all that wealth. And he needs a place also to live. So adequate wealth also is given. And proper place also is given. And so, whatever the sage needed to enter the life of a householder is all given by the king. With all humility, without feeling hurt or insulted by the words of the sage. You know why? Because he knows, or he has his trust. The Guru knows what he is talking. In his words there is Shraddha. When he says something, there must be a reason. So when he said take back your gift, means that, what does he need? So he estimated now what he needs and fulfilled that need. So thus, as we said right in the beginning, how the story demonstrates cerebral values. Apart so, then the sage says that now I am quite satisfied. Looking at the gift now that he has brought. Yes, so now, anenaiva mukhena alapaishyathaha iti. So this is the mukham, the dwaram. This gift that you have brought is dwaram, is a gateway. Meaning that by that you will make me speak now. So alapaishyathaha, meaning that you will make me speak, you will make me talk. So this gift that you brought becomes dwaram. Dwaram is a gate or means for making me talk, meaning for receiving that knowledge. This is a means. So then That is why Bhashyakara here quotes. Apparently, Vidya has said this. Vidya means the goddess of knowledge. Apparently has made a statement. Brahmachari. So who is a person to whom a Vidya or knowledge can be imparted? Brahmachari, Dhanadayi, Medhavi, Shrotriya, Priya, Vidyam va Vidya Prahayati. A brahmachari is fit for imparting the knowledge. Or a dhanadayi, one who gives a lot of wealth. Medhavi, an intelligent person. Shrotriya, well versed in the Vedas and very well learned in Vedas. Priya, one who is dear to you. Or one who returns knowledge in return of knowledge. One who provides, gives knowledge in return of knowledge. So these six are considered to be Tirthani Shanmama. The goddess of knowledge said these are six are Tirtha. Means these are the gates, means for me to be imparted. So it is always that knowledge should not be imparted to anybody and everybody. It is not to restrict the knowledge. That's what people are, after all the Brahmanas, etc. are blamed. They are criticized and condemned that those fellows all kept the Vidya knowledge with themselves and then protected it and never gave it to other people. But the knowledge must be protected. And it must go to the right person. Even Lord Krishna says, Bhakto sime sakha cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam Sevayam mayatedya yoga proktah puratana. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna that today I have imparted the knowledge to you, which I imparted to Vivaswan in the beginning of creation today. Finding you the fit or appropriate recipient of this knowledge. So what is the qualification that Arjuna has? Bhakto sime sakha cheti. You are my bhakta, you are surrendered to me, you love me, you are devoted to me, and you are my friend, you are also very dear to me. So apparently Lord Krishna must have waited for a long time to find a right person to whom this impart this knowledge. And when that situation is created in the middle of battle, it doesn't matter where it is created, he imparted knowledge in the middle of battlefield. Have you ever heard? When armies are arrayed against each other, the conches are blown, and how noisy that, and how exciting, how noisy, and how disturbing that environment must be. The elephants are screaming, and horses, and all the weapons. What an amount of noise. In that, Lord Krishna imparted that knowledge. So, I asked once our Swami, I said, this, we are in our course, I said, this person is rather young, Swami, how did you take him? He said, you should catch them when it is ripe, otherwise they'll get distracted. So when the right time comes, you should do what is the right thing to do. So when the right time came, Lord Krishna did what was the right thing to do because Arjuna was ready right now. Shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. Meaning the right atmosphere must be created on the part of teacher, which is always there, we assume. Also on the part of the disciple. Meaning that Raikva waited for that to be created, and when that happened, then he imparted them. Not that he needs all this stuff. I mean, he is a Rishi, he is a Tapasvi, you can see that he is almost all-knowing. He possesses a lot of spiritual powers. He can get all these cows and stuff like that. We don't imagine that he has to depend upon the king for anything like that. But then why does he act like one who is needy? And why does he also, sets himself up for being criticized that he was not satisfied by gift, and then he asked for more gift. You mean that the sage is so great? Does he really need those things? I don't think so. It is that he just wanted the disciple to know what it takes to receive the knowledge. That there must be an appropriate compensation for the knowledge. If you give, otherwise it won't work. If knowledge is imparted to someone who is not ready, not willing, not prepared, then it does not work. And therefore, right conditions must be created. That's all that we have to learn from this story. Not the look at what kind of Rishi is this. He asked for money, he asked for this. No. That would be insignificant for someone like him. It was for the sake of king, the disciple, that he asked for all of this, so that the disciple knows what it takes for me to receive this knowledge. What should be the qualification of a disciple? And then he almost insulted him. In all humility, king returned. So, anadhatva, meaning uddhatatvam is not there. His humility is there. Shraddha is there. The trust in the words of the teacher is there. That he says, so it must be the way to do. How can you say, I already brought 600. Why do you want more? What will you do with it? You can ask. You mean 600 cows are not enough for you? You want more? No. 1,000, suppose the sage said, he would have brought 2,000. Meaning that you are the one to decide, not I. I am surrendered to you. Shishya shadimam tvam prapannam. I am surrendered to you, and therefore your word is your word is my duty. Tad vidhi pranipatena sevaya. In fact, you should serve the teacher. He can't serve the teacher, so he offered his daughter, who will serve this sage. In a way, that he is offering service also. Pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So, thus when we look at the story in this manner, we can see how certain conditions must be satisfied before the knowledge is imparted. Otherwise, there is no value. It just comes to you without any effort, and it just poured upon you. Then all right. There is no value. That's why Lord Krishna has to say to Arjuna again and again, Rajvidya, Rajguhyam, Pavitram idam uttamam. Arjuna, understand how valuable what it is you are receiving is Rajvidya. He is the greatest among all the knowledge. He is greatest among all the secrets. Idam tedya guhyatamam pravakshami, guhyatamam. So Lord Krishna himself praises that knowledge. To make Arjuna or any disciple understand that this is a very valuable thing. Brahma devanam prasamasambhuva vishwasya karta bhuvanasya gopta sab brahma vidyam sarvidyam pratishtham. Even ChhandogyaUpanishad begins with extolling the knowledge that none other than Brahma himself imparted this knowledge to his son, and that is how it's coming down. So Guru Parampara is described. Evam parampara praptam rajarshayo viduhu. So this parampara is described in Upanishads also, in Bhagavad Gita also. And that is the reason why there is a certain way of doing things. You can call it formality. You can call it form. Formality means form. But that form also is required. The spirit is required, no doubt, but the form also is required. So that is what is also described here. So when the condition is now satisfied, then the right atmosphere is created. When Jnana Shruti is now ready, then the knowledge is imparted. So now let us read the next passage on the page 8. Vayurvava samvargaha Yada vai agnihi udvayati vayam eva apyeti yada suryaha astameti vayam eva apyeti yada chandraha astameti vayam eva apyeti. Vayurvava samvargaha. See the translation. Vayu means air. Air indeed. So Vava means indeed. Air indeed is samvargaha, the place of merger. How says? How do you say air is a place of merger? Then Upanishad itself says, Yada vai agni udvayati vayam eva pyeti. When fire goes out, it merges into air. Yada surya astameti. When the sun sets, it merges into air. When moon sets, it merges into air. So this, what is air? Means Vayu here. So Vayu is the one who is samvarga. Samvarjanat, sangrahanat, sangarsanat va samvarga. So Bhashyakara says, what is the meaning of word samvarga? Samvarjanat, because absorb, what absorbs is called samvarga. Means what? Sangrahanat, the one who takes everything into himself, is called samvarga. One that takes everything into itself. Or one who swallows up everything into himself, makes it one with himself. So when you swallow food, it becomes one with you. Until then it's different from you. When you consume food, it becomes one with you. So there is samvarga that swallows up things and makes it one with itself. Meaning there is no distinction now between the food and yourself when you swallow it. So Vayu is a swallower. He is samvarga. He is the one who takes everything into himself, swallows, takes everything in himself or swallows everything. So they are asking, so may you meditate upon this Vayu, may you look at the air and appreciate the glory of Ishvara as to how Ishvara swallows everything. He is a creator, he is a sustainer, he is a swallower. Everything emerges from him, sustained by him, merges back into him. That's why we give that picture of Lord Narayana, who is reclining on his serpent bed, as though nothing, everything is, the whole universe is swallowed, and that is in his stomach. He is lying down quietly. So this is also one of the glories of Ishvara. Swallowing. So Sarjanam, creation, sustenance and destruction are the merger, sustenance and then emerging and merging back. So you can see that play of swallowing everywhere. You can see creation everywhere. You can see also destruction or swallowing also everywhere. Because creation cannot take place unless there is a destruction of the previous state. And so, you take one quality, Ishvara manifests as order. You can say that to swallow up is the order. Samvarga. Then Vayu, the air demonstrates that quality of Ishvara, which is Samvarga, or which is a place of merger or place of absorption. So for us to be able to meditate in this manner, the Upanishad says, how do you say that Vayu is the place of merger? So Vayu means what? The Bhashyaha Vayu, this external air. Because this is the meditation based on the divine plane. Then they will also prescribe meditation based on the individual plane also. Adhideva and Adhyatma. So at the Adhideva level, at the divine plane, the Vayu is a merger, place of merger. So the Here the observation is made. Yada vai agni udvayati vayam eva pyedi. When the fire goes out, when the fire is extinguished, then it merges into air because it becomes smoke, So when the fire is being extinguished, there is smoke, air, and then it disappears. So where is the air? The fire disappeared into air. Vayu swabhavyam apigacchati. Meaning that this fire becomes Vayu. When the fire is extinguished, becomes Vayu. So this is something that we observe. So what we observe is presented here for us to understand what is meant by samvarga, what is meant by a place of merger. Yada surya astamedi vayum apyedi. When the sun sets, where does it go? Goes into Vayu. And when the moon sets, goes into Vayu. Now this is difficult to swallow. The fire thing we can understand, That when the fire is put out or extinguished, then it goes to Vayu. Understandable. But sun and moon, how do you say? So Bhashyakara says, this is the role of the Bhashyakaras. This is the role of the teachers, by the way. Because one says, saint, his name was Swami Akhandananda. He used to say in Hindi, देखो भाई हमको तो शास्त्र की वकालत करनी है. Meaning that we have to defend the scriptures. So suppose some scripture says something which doesn't make sense, or seems to contradict the reason. Does it mean that it is wrong? If the scripture is wrong, then it is not praman. You can't trust. And therefore it becomes then the role of the wise people, the knowers of scriptures, to explain those statements of scriptures, to show the consistency. That's why the whole Brahma Sutra came that way. There are all these Upanishads. People ask, how many Upanishads should we study and what is what? And if you study, you will be confused totally anyway. Somebody has to teach you, really. Somebody has to give you the vision of what the Upanishad says. And that's what Sutrakara did. Tattva Samanvayat. He finds Samanvaya. He says Brahma. It's called Brahma Sutra. Athado Brahma Jignasa. So Sutrakara first of all proposes that we are going to show you how Brahman is the subject matter of all the Upanishads. All Upanishads talk about Brahma. Meaning what? Brahma which is one and non-dual. Meaning Brahman is the self. So Jiva Brahma Aikyam, the identity of Jiva and Brahma, is what we are going to talk about. He proposes, right? Makes a pratigna, means proposal. Pratigna, and then hetu, and then sad. So then he gives the whole Brahma Sutra as hetu. It's called Nyaya. In support of this, that all that the Upanishads talk about is Brahman. Because if we independently study the Upanishads, looks like different Upanishads are saying different things. Some of the statements of the Upanishads, either lend themselves to more than one interpretations. And so there can be doubt as to what the statement means. And then there are always people who have their own interpretations also. And they provide alternate interpretation and say, this is what your Upanishad says. Come on. Asadvayadamagrasi. So the Buddha says, your own Upanishad says that this was asad, non-existent. So then what's the meaning of the word asad? Is it non-existence? Is what Upanishad says? That's when you require the teacher, that you can't take one sentence. You have to take in the whole context and to show How that one sentence, it doesn't mean that it was all non-existent. It was unmanifest. Asat means unmanifest, not non-existent. Just an example. What I'm saying is that there are statements. Upanishad is just teaching. It's a live thing where a teacher unfolds. I mean, he just teaches the student. It's not that there is a structure, he plans everything and he just, he just teaches. Because he is a seer and as it occurs to him, he just expresses it. So Sutrakara created a whole system. There is no system in the Upanishad. In Upanishad, seer does not have a system in mind and says, now I am teaching this. That. He teaches, then we have to find a system in there. That's what Sutrakara does. He tells us what is the system, how to study the Upanishad, how to understand them. So, thus Sutrakara is a defender of the scriptures. Otherwise, so many interpretations are possible. हमको वकालत करनी है. We have to defend the scriptures. Meaning that it is possible that some things are not clear or they lend themselves to different interpretations. Apparently. You require someone who has a whole vision and who can show the whole picture and how everything fits into that picture. You can take one thing and find out, oh, this is not consistent with that and that is not consistent with this. Then you need someone who has a whole vision, who can show you how everything fits into that. Similarly, all this Raikva and all this story, can be interpreted anyway. And so, the question is, how do you say that the sun is the air is a merger of sun? And moon also merges into sun. The fire merges into sun, okay, we can accept. So, nothing. Says, Yada Chandra Vayam Apyedi. Nanu Katham Surya Chandramaso Swarupa Avasthitayo Vayu Apigamanam Iti. You say that the sun and the moon merge into air. They don't merge. You see them as they are, Meaning sun remains sun. Where does it merge? And moon also remains moon. Is it not so? It doesn't merge. Doesn't become Vayu. Fire doesn't remain fire, becomes Vayu. Okay. We will accept it. But to say that sun also merges into Vayu means it becomes Vayu. Moon also merges into Vayu. It becomes Vayu. Where is it? Sun and moon remain what they are. How do you say they merge into Vayu? Nanu katham surya chandramaso swarupa avasthitayo vayu apigamanam. How can you say that sun and moon, which we find existing as they are, because next day they appear? If sun did not remain a sun and it disappeared, then you won't find him next day, isn't it? Naisha dosha. So now he has to defend. Vakalat karni hai. Vakalat mein, vakil means what? A lawyer. Defendant. So it's naisha dosha. That defect is not there. I mean, you have to understand it in this way. You have to understand the spirit sometimes. Something is taken literally, something where you have to understand the spirit. Because this whole purpose is meditation, understand. Astamane adarshana prapte vayoho nimittatvad. That the sun sets. Who makes the sun set? So, as it was evident those days, the sun was moving, rotating around the earth, and moon was rotating around the earth, and then sun went that direction, moon went. So they knew that it doesn't get destroyed, it disappears. Adarshanam. Adarshanam means that sun is no more seen, it disappears from our side. Moon also disappears from our side. So who is responsible for that? Who moves the sun? Somebody moves the sun, is it not so? Then only it goes the other side, disappears from our sight. Somebody moves the moon, then only the moon disappears from our sight, is it not so? Who does it? Vayu does it. Chalanatmako Vayu. So chalana, movement is the nature of Vayu. So all movement, wherever they are carried out, is Vayu that is responsible for all movement. Movement belongs to Vayu. So wherever the accommodation belongs to space, movement belongs to Chalanatmako Vayu. So the sun moves, then only it can disappear from our sight. The moon also moves, is made to move, then only it disappears. And therefore, the disappearance from our sight is the same as sun and moon going out of existence, meaning they have merged into Vayu because Vayu is responsible for their movement. So sometimes, all right, sometimes the explanation doesn't seem very satisfactory. You say so, we'll accept it, but And so somebody may Pakshantaram Gaunastari, that means there is no real merger into Vayu. You say Vayu is a place of merger of everything, sun and moon, but the way you are explaining that Vayu is responsible for the movement of sun and moon, so there is no real merger. That means merger is in a secondary, not in a primary sense. But I say, okay, take it this way then. Athva pralaye surya chandramaso. So when pralaya happens, what is pralaya? Means dissolution, the whole universe dissolves. What is dissolution? The effect merging into cause. That's called the dissolution. How the pralaya is described is, the earth merges into water, which is the cause. Water merges into fire, which is its cause. And what is the cause of fire? Tasmadva etasad atma akashas sambhuvah. Akashad vayo agni. So Vayu is the cause of Agni. So Agni merges into Vayu. But that you see in the day-to-day life. But what is sun and what is moon? They are also light. They are also fire. Teja. So sun and moon are nothing but embodiment of fire, and Vayu is the cause of fire. So at the time of Pralaya, the fire merges into its cause, which is Vayu. So then the merger is in a primary sense. So if every day merger does not happen in Vayu, suddenly at the time of Pralaya, dissolution, the sun and moon, which represent the principle of light and so principle of fire, they merge into their cause, which is Vayu. Are you happy now? Yes, we are happy. Okay. So this is then says, so sun and moon and fire, sun and moon are mentioned. Yada apaha uchushyandi vayumeva priyante. And similarly also, when the water is dried up, where does it go? Goes into Vayu. Air is what? The drying agent. Air dries up everything, so water evaporates into air. So thus fire, sun, moon, count, okay? The count also is important. So this Vayu is a place of merger. And what merges into Vayu? The sun and the moon and fire and water. Okay. So you must remember that Krita and Treta, and that that thing is always there in the mind. Just swallowing. How that the dice called Krita, which has 4 marks in there, how it swallows all other things, all other dice. Because one is 3, other is 2, other is 1, all of them get included in the Krita. So similarly, Vayu is a dice, in which all these are included. So how Krita, that dice, swallows up all of them, similarly also Vayu swallows up, and that fellow swallows, so 4 are swallowed up in Vayu. So this is if you want to meditate upon Ishvara. Here one attribute of Ishvara, what is swallower? Ishvara, the swallower, is what is meditated upon here. Sometimes Ishvara, the creator, sometimes swallower. And so this meditation, those of you who have listened to Taittiriya Upanishad, that Brahmanah Parimarityupasita, that when you meditate upon Brahman, Akasha is Parimara. So there Akasha is present as swallower. Parimriyante linaha bhavanditi parimasmiti parimaraha. So parimara is that in which everything dies, everything merges. So in Taittiriya Upanishad also meditations are straight, so at the end, where you meditate upon Akasha. What is Akasha? That in which everything becomes merged. So if you meditate upon Akasha, then you become one in whom everything merges. So sometimes Akasha is presented as the place of merger. Here, Vayu is presented as the place of merger. This is at the Adidevika, the divine plane. Coming to the individual plane called Adhyatma. That's Adhyatmam Pranavava Samvargaha. Just as Vayu, the cosmic air, becomes the Samvarga, the place of merger of all these elements, so also individual prana, the vital air also is place where these four merge. When do they merge? Here also the sun and the moon and the fire and the water, they all merge into air at the individual level. You know what is sun? Sun at the cosmic level is equivalent to what at the individual level? Sun is the presiding deity of eyes. Moon is the presiding deity of mind. Fire presiding deity of speech. Speech, right. Vag, prana, chakshuhu, shrotram. So now, Adhyatmam says pranamavava samvargaha. Just as at the cosmic level, the Vayu is the samvargaha, the place of merger, the individual prana, same Vayu is prana here, understand? Same Vayu becomes the vital air at the individual level. So, air that you're breathing in and out is the vital air. That's called prana. And mukhya prana means the prana that you experience, that emerges through mouth. It's called mukhya prana. So, now the Upanishad says, when does this merger happen? Yada swapiti. When a person goes to sleep, then all merger happens, isn't it? It says, pranam eva vagapyeti. A sleeping person, does he talk? No. What has happened to the organ of speech? Has merged. So when a person is sleeping, something is awake. What is awake? When you are sleeping, there is something that does not sleep. What is that? Prana. So prana is a Vayu at the individual level. So when nothing remains and prana remains, means what? Everything is merged into prana. It has swallowed up everything and it remains. So yada swapiti pranamya vagapyeti. The speech merges into prana. Pranam chakshuhu. The eyes means organ of sight also merges. You don't see. Pranam shrotram. You don't hear. The organ of hearing also merges into prana. Pranam manaha. The mind also merges into prana. Same devatas at the individual level. So prana etan sarvan samrukteti. It is prana that swallows up all of these. That is very easy to understand. Because when you are sleeping, suddenly everything merges. Merges into what? Into the one that is not merging. So prana does not merge in the sleep, isn't it? And everything else is merged. So where is they merged? They have merged in prana. Tovayato dho samvargo. Thus there are these two places. Thus you have to meditate upon these two. Two meditations are there. One meditation, the divine plane, that you meditate upon Vayu as samvarga, the place of merger. The Vayu has what gives the Vayu the capability of swallowing everything? Please tell me that the Vayu swallows. What gives the Vayu the capability of swallowing? Have you heard? Kenopanishad you may have heard. In Kenopanishad the story comes. that once upon a time, in the battle between Devatas and Asuras, the gods and demons, the Devatas won, the gods won the battle. Then they started boasting. Asmakam vayam vijay. This is our victory. We have won this battle. So when they started boasting and they were proud, meaning that they took the ownership of winning this battle, as though it is because of them that the battle was won. And so God, Ishvara, thought this is not right. If Devatas become proud, then that itself will be the cause of the downfall. Then again the Asuras will win. And therefore, the Devatas must be rid of their pride. So while the Devatas are boasting and describing what I did in the battles, agreeing the fire says I did this, and air says I did this, and everybody was boasting, appeared before them a divine figure called Yaksha. This is called the Adidevika Avatara, by the way. So Adhyatmika Adidevika Avatara. This is an illustration of the divine manifestation of the Lord, Avatara. The moment it appeared, all Devatas became quiet. Hey, who is that one? I don't know. Who is that one? They started asking each other. I don't know. But then appearance of that Yaksha, the divine one, created in them this desire. They wanted to know who is he. Nobody dared go before him, near him. So all of them went to this Devata called fire. Hey Agni, you are the brightest among us. So you go and find out who that Yaksha is. Like this, yes, I'll go and find out. They all pride, the Devata god, fire god proceeds, and by the time he reaches that Yaksha, just becomes quiet. All his pride and everything is gone by the very presence of that Yaksha. He could not even could not say anything. He had gone to inquire who that Yaksha was and himself, then Yaksha asked him, who are you? Then again little pride came back. I'm fire. Oh, what's your power? I can burn anything. Really? So then the Yaksha picked up a dry, a blade of grass, placed before him. Please burn this. He says, what? I'm fire, don't you know? I can burn anything. You want me to burn this thing? Yes, please. So then fire tried to burn that dry blade of grass, which a mastic can burn. With all his might, the fire god tried, could not do that. Became disappointed, ashamed of himself, with his face down, came back, said, I could not know who that Yaksha is. Devatas are disappointed. They go to another Devata who is another boaster, the Vayu Devata. Hey Vayu, oh air god, you are the strongest among us. Would you please go and find out who the Yaksha is? Yes, I'll go. Same fate. He also approached and then went there, could not say a word. Then Yaksha asked him, who are you? Then again, little life came into him. I'm Vayu. Really? What is your strength? Hey, I can blow anything up. I can blow up anything. Nobody can obstruct my movement. I can blow up anything. Good. Same blade of grass, not another one, was placed before Vayu. Please blow this up. What do you mean, blow up a blade of grass? Yes. And Vayu, all his might he applied, could not blow up even a blade of grass. Therefore he was humbled. He returned and said, I'm sorry, I could not know who this Yaksha is. And so then Indra goes, but Indra is a little, he is the king of all the Devatas. And then the Yaksha disappeared. He did not even get an audience from Yaksha. Indra was not fortunate enough to even, but Indra was very humble. He didn't turn back. He stayed there and prayed, meditated. And where that Yaksha disappeared, there itself a divine goddess appeared, Brahma Vidya, Uma. And then, Indra asked, who was that one who disappeared from here? Oh, that was Brahma. It was by Brahman that all of you got victory. It's his strength, because of him that you did. So that's how Indra first came to know, he got the knowledge of Brahman. And then he came and told the other devatas. But the lesson here is that Vayu can do what it does because of whom? Ishvara. So Vayu is swallower because of whom? So that quality that the Vayu has belongs to whom? Ishvara. So that way you meditate upon Saguna Brahma Ishvara as the swallower, and Vayu becomes evidence of that. So you meditate upon Vayu as the Samvarga, and that is Ishvara. Meditate upon this prana or the Samvarga as the Ishvara. So this is how this Samvarga Vidya is presented here. And we'll complete this tomorrow. There is a little story that follows as Arthavada to extol this knowledge, and then this prakarana will come to an end. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.